Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia, SEC championship game. The last time that Georgia and Alabama matched up in the SEC championship game was at the Georgia Dome, 2012. An epic game that afternoon. Alabama holding off Georgia on a deflected pass at the line of scrimmage, and the clock ran out on the Dogs. Alabama went on the next week, not the next week, a month later, and pounded Notre Dame. Don't get me started on the 4 weeks between games.
Yeah, that's
what
ridiculous.
Other sport do you take a month
off?
That's
ridiculous.
Anyway, that's another story. All these people that saying we can't expand the playoff, you got plenty of time to expand the playoff.
2 weeks, right there it is.
It's too hard on the students and student management.
Yeah.
Of course, you can have them play 7 overtimes in about an 8-hour game. That's okay.
That's okay, Kip.
Okay, anyway, I digress. We're going to talk about the championship game.
Yeah, big game.
Alabama, Georgia. Georgia has one loss. It was to LSU, and it was a very poor performance. They bounced back and won their final 4 games, including a couple of gut check wins to get to this spot. They beat a top 10 Florida and Kentucky team at the time. Both were ranked in the top 10. And then, of course, dispatched their arch rival, Georgia Tech, in a dominant fashion last week.
Yes, sure did.
This team, Legend, is coming into this game playing their best football of the year. They seem to be peaking at the right time.
Yeah, this Georgia Bulldog team is a serious contender. We talk about Alabama blowing this team out, and I do think Alabama wins this game, but Alabama cannot play the way they have the last 2 weeks, Kip. This is not the Citadel. This is not the Auburn Tigers, and Alabama's been slow out of the gate, and if they slow out the gate again, they could find themselves behind. But I believe this Alabama team mentally is ready. They've been waiting on this kind of game all year. This is the first game where I kind of think, yeah, this team can play with us. The first time this year that Alabama's felt that way. They're going to be ready, Kip.
Okay, let's talk about when Georgia has the ball. What in your mind, from an X's and O's strategy, what is their best approach here in attacking this Alabama defense?
Well, Georgia's a very basic team, but the problem with that basic is they're a very talented basic team. They run a pro set. They're going to try to establish the run with Holyfield and Swift, 2 outstanding future NFL running backs. This is a team that if they can run the ball, if they can get that 4-yard, if they can get that 5-yard, if they can move the chains, Kip, they will then play action, and Jake Fromm has dangerous people on the outside. He has Gooden, he has Harden, he has Ridley, he has talented players on the outside. The key to the game is the running game. Alabama will try to make them one-dimensional. What Georgia cannot do, remember I told you this, Kip,
yes.
They cannot bring in Justin Fields. They cannot try to run him in for 2 series because against Alabama, if you slip up, you 20 behind, Kip.
There you go. Well, and Fromm is playing his best football now. He has been just razor precisioned in these latest games. And I don't think Georgia gets, and I appreciate you highlighting their receivers. They don't get enough credit for their receiver core. Alabama's is fabulous, but Georgia's is great too.
Outstanding.
With Godwin and Hardman and Ridley. And the 2 freshmen that have come out of nowhere. Simmons and Holloman are catching passes everywhere. And Isaac Nauta is a first-round NFL tight end who they're finally throwing the football to.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a challenge for the Alabama defense. I think Georgia will have some success on offense, but the question is, can they have enough? Because when Alabama has the ball, what do you expect?
Well, you're going to see the same things you've seen all year. Alabama's going to spread the field on you. And when Alabama spreads the field, they got Smith, they got Judy, they got Ruggs, and they got Irv Smith.
Another
4
great tight end.
future high NFL draft pick, 4'4", 4'3" guys. They're going to get the ball wide to these guys. And when that spreads your safeties and spreads your linebackers, then you got to deal with who running the ball, Kip?
Harris, and Jacobs.
The best law firm in football, ladies and gentlemen.
Call me, Alabama.
And the thing about Alabama, on a bad day, they're going to put up 40. So for Georgia to win this game, they got to have big special team plays. They got to have a pick 6. They got to come seriously early on in this game and be ready. If they not, the champ will knock them out, and this game will get ugly, Kip.
Well, Georgia ranks last in the SEC in sacks. They have not had some successors to their NFL prospects that went up the ladder in terms of putting pressure on quarterbacks. I think maybe of all the things, that might be the biggest key to the game. Georgia's not a team that typically blitzes a lot. I think they need to sell out, take chances. I mean, Tua's going to burn them a lot of the time, but if they're going to have any opportunity, about the only team that effectively played defense against Alabama, well, I guess we can say LSU and Mississippi State both had good defensive plans. Both got some pressure. You got to get some pressure on Tua to make him hurry up, because if he has time to sit back there, he's just going to absolutely pick you apart. So I see that. Special teams-wise, I think Georgia has the edge. The kicking game's better.
They
better
got to win that aspect of the game to have a chance.
They have to make a big play on special teams, in my opinion,
and they're capable
to have a chance. You remember that championship game a few years ago? They blocked a field goal and ran it in for a touchdown that made that game really tight. Anyway, at the end of the day, this is going to be a great matchup. Georgia, Alabama, kicking off this afternoon in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We'll have our picks when we get to the end on the 13-point line. We're going to save that for the end.
Save it to the end.
And we'll
get your pencil and paper out.
That's right. So we will be right back. We're going to look at the rest of the national championship games in each conference.
Get it out, Kip.
I don't want to say the national championship. The nationally scheduled conference championships. We'll have that right when we come back.